Entertainment Banter is a podcast that may use inappropriate language for some viewers, and as always, please wear your face mask while listening to the podcast. Thank you.
Good, I forgot.
We're going. Entertainment Banter, everybody.
Hi.
We're back.
We're back. Entertainment Banter.
I'm
we're,
Joel.
We're rolling, and I'm Matt.
Just went with it.
We just went with it.
Screw it.
What are we talking about today, Joel?
We are talking about if there is a certain actor you like to watch in movies or TV shows that no matter what, if they're in it or not, you were like, I gotta go see this movie. I have to go
Okay, so we're not just watching them because we like to watch them. You're talking about if they entice us to go to the movies. Like if you're watching a movie trailer, you're saying, oh, that actor's in it, I want to go see this movie.
Yeah, almost like you don't care what the movie's about. You're like, I like that actor, I'm gonna go see this movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's a lot of the times what movie companies, production companies are counting on.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of reasons why you go see a musical.
That's star power.
That's star power. You go see even a live performance. If you have a certain performer in it,
right,
you're gonna go see it.
Right, that's a good point.
It's
like
a
Broadway shows, the original cast or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, sometimes I think when you go see live shows and you see a performer you like, it's because you want to be in the same space as that person.
Sure, especially live.
Yeah, you want to feel them. You want to,
a
chance to get their sweat on you. You would.
All right. Okay. So you mentioned movies first. So are you talking about us personally, what we want to see?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, who else are we going to talk to?
Well, I don't know. I guess
we're you and I, it's just two guys.
I didn't know if it was like
two guys hanging out, in your man cave,
in the nerdery.
Just shooting the shit on anything we want. No one's listening. No one's gonna question us.
My mom's listening.
Crap.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Growing up, obviously, I'm a product of the '80s. So for me,
were you made in the '80s? You were born in the '80s.
I was growing up in the '80s. So basically, for me, Harrison Ford was one of those people. I mean, he was Han Solo, he was Indiana Jones, and then he did really cool things for a while. He did Jack Ryan for some of the Tom Clancy stories, like Patriot Games, and
didn't Jack Ryan come out again?
Yeah, it's a Prime show right now.
Okay.
And then you had Clear and Present Danger, but then he would also do these really offshoots.
He's named a lot of things I don't even know.
That's sad. I'm sorry, you're missing out on a lot. He did
so.
Blade Runner. That was another good one. Then he did all these.
Harrison Ford was in Blade Runner?
Yeah, big time.
Shit.
Both of them, because the second one came out. He also did really cool thrillers sometimes. So what was it? Regarding Henry, there was one. He gets shot.
Did all come out in the '80s?
Yeah. There was I can't remember it now, but there were so many. He was in Working Girl.
Was he in Air Force One?
He was in Air Force One. That came out later. Yeah, that was a good place of president.
Get off my plane.
Yeah, get off my plane. He did, was it called The Devil's Own? It was when Brad Pitt first started making the scene. In fact, it was Harrison Ford's billing that drawed people in, but Brad Pitt quickly became a name as a result of it, because he was around the time the Legends of Fall was coming out, stuff like that. So, Ford has done a lot of really cool stuff, and he's one of those actors, too, that I think bridged a gap between a generation of filmmaking, because I forget, Force 10 or something like that. I think he was in that movie, and the style of acting in that movie, he was really young in that movie, and the style of acting in that movie with the old actors versus the new actors was completely different. And the irony is, Ford was like a new kid actor in that movie, whereas the senior actors were what people were drawn to see in that movie. It's crazy to think about.
It just made me think about who are going to be the new people now, but all the Chris's are becoming the new people.
Yeah,
right?
so far.
Well, I don't even know where they came from. All of a sudden we have a Chris Evans, we have a Chris Hemsworth, we have a Chris
We
Pratt,
were in a male actor drought. I mean, that's why I think we may have even talked about this before, where The Expendables is a perfect example on all aspects.
Why, because they're all old?
No, because of all aspects of what we're talking about. Because back when I was a kid, those actors that were in The Expendables,
were action stars.
They were
Jason Statham. He was an action star now, but he
right. But you had Rambo. You had Die Hard. You had Predator or Terminator.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You had Chuck Norris films.
Chuck Norris.
You know what I mean? for people that grew up in that era.
Did you know that Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer?
I did not know, but I do now. I know
but
that
you can't make him cry.
I know. That's the hardest part about it.
Hardest part.
It's really hard.
Sad.
It's incredibly
He
sad.
wants to cry, but he can't.
I know. I know. But you know what I mean, though? Like, all those actors, you knew, like, oh, I want to go see that movie. That's why Arnold is so popular, because it was Arnold movie. Like, what one-liner is he going to say? And then,
Did you think Arnold was a good actor, or do you think he just got his parts because he was buff?
Oh my god. First couple movies, buffness. I mean, people, like, when you watch Predator, and before...
Get to the chopper!
Well, it's like before they even see the Predator, they do that attack on the camp or whatever, and then they do those classic shots where he's, like, picking up an entire truck and shoving it down a hill, you know?
I remember that.
Oh, man, yeah, like, it's just like, you're like, holy crap, this guy's strong, you know? Like, what can take this guy down? The Predator, you know, like, that's AKA...
Well, he killed the Predator, didn't he?
No, I know, but my point is, like, you're... And then it's funny, too, because, like, some actors that were
Conan the Barbarian.
Conan the Barbarian. Some actors that were in Rocky were in Predator. You know, it's just funny how they were just there was these great action stars. You know, Die Hard, Bruce Willis.
Willis.
You know,
I don't like Bruce Willis. Not a fan of him.
You know what?
Never have been.
Early on, I enjoyed I liked his sincerity in Die Hard, the first one, and it's funny because getting back to what we were talking about, not having enough actors to compete in modern times, it's funny because they still had to piggyback on these old action actors to get stuff done. That's why there's Die Hard 5. That's why Rocky's making a comeback. It's because there hasn't been enough young people stepping up to the plate, doing it justice that people want to go back and see. We always wanted to go see these actors, but there hasn't been new actors that we want to see. Only until recently, thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, have we gotten these people. You know what I mean? Like Chris Pratt, like you said, and Chris Evans. Even Robert Downey Jr. made his comeback. You know, but up until then, we didn't really have anybody.
Well, to say that they're still making Rocky movies, he's handed off the mantle to
But it was
Creed.
him bridging the gap into the new generation.
Of course.
Just kind of like the Star Wars movies, like 7, 8, 9.
Now they
use the old actors to draw them in, but they're introducing the new gen.
Well, they're kind of recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
They're trying to
That's a different
rekindle.
subject, but yes.
Yeah, they're trying to rekindle what they had, and they're seeing if they can relight the fire. That's what they're trying to do.
Right. But we're kind of getting off subject. So
Absolutely.
Getting back to the point of today's topic, were there any actors that if you saw a trailer, you're like, or a TV show, you're like, I'm going to watch that?
It was hard. So, I never liked Bryan Cranston when he was in Malcolm in the Middle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Malcolm in the Middle was one of the worst TV shows put on network.
Yep. Never watched it.
There's a lot of people who loved it.
Yeah.
Awful. It went on many seasons, but, I mean, obviously...
I think there wasn't a lot to go on during that time frame, television-wise.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was awful. I thought Frankie Muniz was an awful actor. And
Yeah.
his acting style was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But apparently it did its thing, and people wanted to watch it. So, but Bryan Cranston was in that as the father, and he was an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But then he probably did other things, but I didn't really follow him. But then all of a sudden he did Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And that character evolved so much, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
I can't imagine anyone else to be Walter White.
Yeah, don't hate me. I've not seen the show yet.
It's fine, you're an
idiot. No. It's just I don't like watching shows with too much hype around it. That's why I'm behind on Walking Dead too.
Well, Breaking Bad, there was already 3 seasons or 4 seasons out, and my friend's like, you want to watch this? Excuse me, this dark comedy,
right?
And I'm like, sure. It was rough to get through the first few episodes. He kept saying, just keep watching it, and then it hit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're like, I gotta watch the next episode. It just became this thing, and you start watching this character evolve, and it's all about character development. When you have good character development throughout the series, and you see evolution, growth. Yep. It makes the show so much better, make it more in depth, right? Mm-hmm. So now, when I saw Bryan Cranston was in a new Godzilla movie, I'm like, I guess I gotta go see. I was probably gonna see Godzilla anyway, but I'm like, Bryan Cranston's in it. It's gotta be good.
So he did influence your decision.
Yeah, and then like
if you were on the fence, this actor would be
absolutely.
like, okay, I'm gonna go see it because he's in it.
I mean, Power Rangers when it came out, of course I was gonna go see it. I grew up with Power Rangers, but he was Zordon in that one.
Oh, gotcha.
So I had to go see it. I'm like, Bryan Cranston's in this.
So it worked.
I had to go see
it worked. So
you
did find somebody in it.
Yeah. So there's things like right away, maybe not. Like you'll start watching a show. and maybe you're not like you're on the fence about shows and you're watching and you get involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chris O'Dowd, I think he's a fantastic actor, and he did Bridesmaids.
Yep.
But before I saw him in Bridesmaids, I saw him in IT Crowd, the British.
Oh yeah,
the British.
Yeah,
sitcom.
yeah, hilarious.
And that was funny, right?
One of the best shows.
So
I've
then when
ever
I saw
seen.
Bridesmaids, I'm like, he's funny in that too.
Yeah.
I was really pushed back on watching Bridesmaids because the ex-fiance wanted to watch it,
Right.
and I'm like, ugh. Like she's already seen it, but she's like, you should watch it. It's funny, and you know, it was funny. I'll give her that credit. If you're listening to this, it was funny, and I enjoyed it. There are moments, you know, like help me, I'm poor.
Right,
you know, it's hilarious.
And, yeah,
but
yeah.
Chris O'Dowd was in it. So then when I saw this new TV show that was coming out on Epix,
Yep.
I recommend it. It's called Get Shorty. It's based off the movie, you know.
Yep.
But now it's a TV show. It's not like it's just based off. It has nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
And,
it's its own beast.
And then I saw that he was in it. And then I saw Ray Romano was in it.
Yeah.
And I like Ray
Romano's
Romano
good.
like a little bit. Like I was like, I like him a little.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's
his
a good-
TV show is kind of annoying, but he's funny.
No, I enjoyed his show
Yeah.
a lot, but for personal reasons,
So
as you know.
I started watching Get Shorty.
Yep.
Because of Chris O'Dowd. And it's a serious role for him. And he's fantastic. I've only seen him in comedies. He's fantastic as a serious player.
That's great.
And it's great. I love watching it.
Yeah.
So it's like these things, like you see these people, and there's these people too. You also got to pick people that you like seeing in these movies that you can see them as different roles. Because
Yeah.
you only can see him as that same role, like Denzel Washington.
Yes.
I like Denzel.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. He only plays Denzel.
I know.
He plays Denzel in everything.
Yeah, he does.
Will Smith, great actor. I love Will Smith. He plays Will Smith in
But
everything.
you're bringing up a really good point, and that is these actors that you're talking about, whether they're playing themselves or I mean, I don't want to insult their performances if they think they're playing something other than themselves, but the reality is, a lot of themselves come into their characters.
Exactly.
It's just a given, you know.
And they're probably written in that way too for that.
Oh,
purpose.
absolutely. It's
They're probably chosen for these
some
roles.
screenwriters like I'm
Absolutely.
picturing Will Smith when I write this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so I don't really blame the actors for that aspect of it. I'm talking more about us as fans. We want to go see our fans, and we'd be disappointed if we didn't get Will Smith in a Will Smith movie.
Absolutely. When Will
You know what I'm
Smith,
saying?
when I saw him in Suicide Squad, I'm like, oh, Will, why'd you choose the DC universe? I gotta go see this movie. So I'm gonna go see it because of Will Smith, because I like him as a performer.
I think
like
he
him as an
really wanted
actor.
to play Deadpool. I think he likes that character.
Deadpool, Deadshot.
Deadshot. Sorry, Deadshot. You're right, Deadpool.
Get out.
Sorry, we just watched
Move.
Deadpool 2 not that long ago. It's still fresh in the brain.
But now you're seeing these characters like Ryan Reynolds. I would love to see him almost like when he was Deadpool for the original. Not Deadpool. When I saw Ryan Reynolds in Waiting,
Yes.
I thought he was hilarious. So then when he did other movies, he went with Betty White and all that. They were funny. The Engagement, I think that was a movie.
Yeah.
That was funny. Like any rom-com he did, I'm like, I want to go see it. I don't care who wants to date me at the time.
It makes it less painful,
yeah,
right?
Ryan Reynolds
As a
is
guy,
hilarious.
at
Like
least.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I'll
Yeah.
go see any movie he's in.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman, I almost see anything she's in. She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And a great actor.
Yep.
Actress.
And she's very
whatever you
nice.
wanna call 'em.
You know what impressed me about her? Now that I'm a dad
say
and I
Star
have
Wars.
to watch stuff. No. She guest starred on Sesame Street one day, but she sounded
Get out.
She sounded terrible.
Really?
Like she was getting over some serious cold or something. But she stuck
says
through
really.
it. She stuck through it on Sesame Street. You know what I mean? She gave it her all. She even sang a song. Like you have to give someone props like that because Sesame Street. You're doing that for the bottom of your heart. You're not getting paid big bucks from public broadcasting service to do something like that.
Well, the TV networks know that we like watching movies and shows based on certain performers.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday Night Live eats that up. They always bring a guest star on there.
That's perfect.
to be
Yes.
on- They grab someone who's relevant.
Yes.
And they bring him as a guest star.
That's a great example. So that's a perfect example because
Mm-hmm.
are you gonna watch Saturday Night Live based on who the guest is? Is that
Yes.
person gonna draw you
There's
in?
many times I don't watch Saturday Night Live often because a lot of their skits. Let's just put them this way: they're dumb. They're retarded. Some people don't like them. Some people love them.
Yeah.
They're hit or miss.
They're hit or miss.
And
They're
it's
huge
fine.
hit or
And they're
miss.
trying a whole spectrum of skits. I get it.
They have a
Some
lot
them
of
are
generations.
hilarious.
They have a lot of
Like
generations.
Black
to try to
Jeopardy is
please.
hilarious
Yeah.
with Tom Hanks.
Yes,
That's
yes.
so funny.
Yeah.
But recently I watched an episode of Saturday Night Live. Not recently, but I guess probably within the last year. I watched it because one of the main actors from This Is Us was on it, and I'm like, yeah, I want to watch that. He's good in that. Let's see when he's in the comedy skit role. Let's see what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was great. It was great watching him in that.
Has there? Because you talked a lot. Your people are more modern. You're talking about Breaking Bad in the last few
Of course.
years. You know what I mean?
Well, because I didn't notice that. I mean, I guess you can go back to Jim Carrey. I watched almost anything Jim
There you
Carrey
go.
was in
There you go. Like
until he started trying to
especially-
be serious.
Well, You know, that's like
I couldn't see him outside
that's a
of-
positioning move.
I couldn't see him outside.
That's
of
a great,
being comedic.
and that goes back to that whole thing. If you want Will Smith's got to be in that character. And Jim Carrey may have been in those serious roles.
Well, Truman Show was the thing. It was like a mix.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like it's almost like at that point, it's not what you were expecting because the position that Jim Carrey was built on was wacky comedy. So the minute you didn't get that,
In Living Color.
You're almost bringing up what I wanted to ask you. Was there a person you looked forward to seeing that you now don't? Because you don't know what you're going to get.
It's questionable now with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He's in his new movie right now, I guess, on TV show on
Yeah,
Netflix,
it's a new
right?
TV show, yeah.
And
it might be Prime. I don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is.
Netflix? I can't remember.
It's a streaming service near you.
Yes. Maybe Hulu. Maybe it was Hulu.
After he did number 23, I was skeptical of what movies I should see of him. And then like he did Bruce Almighty probably after that, and it was good.
Yep.
He did...
What was the writing one? I
What
feel
was
like
the
there was a
writing
writing one he did. He was a writer?
I feel like that's 23, number 23. Like he had 20.
Something Sunshine, or am I way off?
You
I'm
just
way
brought
off
this
base.
down. This
Sorry,
is
I did.
probably
I
energy
just
level.
I just brought it down to a terrible level. What
But,
was
you
the
know-
last Jim Carrey movie that you enjoyed? That was like what your classic Jim Carrey.
Bruce Almighty.
Okay.
It was a
Yeah.
great movie.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston's hot.
Goes without saying.
It goes without saying. Is Brad Pitt back with her?
I have no idea. Brad is all over the place these days.
But like a Brad Pitt, like I like Brad Pitt as well. Like there was a movie Brad Pitt was in, I'd go see it. I mean, there's certain movies too. Certain movies showed you what the actor could do, and then that could tells you
Yeah.
like what the writing.
What movie
What
did
brought
that
out.
for you with Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt when he was in Snatch.
Oh, really?
Did you see Snatch?
I actually have not seen.
So
Snatch.
you see Snatch or Two Aces, Two Smoking Barrels, Lock, Stock, and Hold 'em, whatever it's
Yeah.
called. With Jason Statham's in both Snatch and that one.
Okay.
You actually did the first two movies. You see Jason Statham with Guy Ritchie.
Yep.
Not Guy Ritchie. Is it Guy Ritchie who directed it?
Snatch. I have no idea. I haven't seen it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's who it was. And he did it, and he discovered Jason Statham. And Jason Statham was a fantastic actor.
Sure.
Great actor. Then Brad Pitt was in Snatch. And Snatch was a great movie. You should see Snatch.
I'll look at it.
Maybe we should watch it tonight.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I love it. There's just so much intricacies. And now you look at him, and then like you look at Jason Statham. Now he's a freaking Fast and the Furious action star, and I'm like, that's not what he was.
Right.
He was a great performer. You can see some great acting from him, and it's like, did he sell out, or he just this is where my career is?
But you gotta pay your bills.
Do you go like?
You know?
So the question, my question right now is, I know we're talking about how what movies and actors are taking you makes want to see a movie or whatnot, but our careers ourselves,
yes,
we get dictated what's available.
Right.
Do you think they just like it's available? I'm gonna jump on it.
Yeah, I think that's partially. You kind of have to, unless it's
And
something
just live
that.
it up?
Well, because you, as you know, in the entertainment business, we work in it. You have to be careful with jobs you select, because if you select a job where it can blacklist you or it can change your image.
Dwayne Johnson didn't
you
have that happen.
You have.
He did some crappy movies.
But he started out. No
As
offense.
a mummy.
No,
As a wrestler?
as a wrestler. And no offense, if you're not into that crowd, some people don't take that seriously. So he started bottom. You know what I mean?
He
like
did.
he started bottom. Now there's a lot of people.
Paid actor in
There's a
Hollywood.
lot of people that like wrestling. So the people that like wrestling are gonna follow him no matter what.
And they use that. See,
you know what I mean?
they use that.
Exactly. But for people that didn't watch wrestling and don't respect it,
Right.
they would probably just think, well, he started from wrestling. I guess he did okay as a wrestler in this movie. And then with each movie, it progresses. You know.
He's actually a really good performer.
He's great.
He's great.
He's awesome. And
anybody you put him pinned up with, he does great. Like I don't like Kevin Hart that much, but Kevin Hart with him, with CIA,
Yeah.
great movie.
Well,
Not a great movie, but it was. And movies to me, if it can carry you through and make you entertained through the whole thing, you don't question what life is during it. Like, what am I doing? It's a good movie.
I don't know how many actors actually do this, and I don't know for sure if it's I don't know if this is the norm these days or not, but it seems to me a lot of the people that we like as performers are the ones that put a lot of themselves in their characters. And I it's interesting to think Robert Downey Jr., I feel like a lot of Iron Man is him. I feel a lot of rock characters are him. I feel like
That's where you get the real.
Harrison Ford, Will Smith, all of these people, they're just being real. And Susan Sarandon is another
That's
actress that I just friggin' love.
Female actors.
No, I know, and we're not sexist, but like it's just.
We are.
Well,
we
just think about action
white
movies.
males.
You know, we're talking about replacing these actors.
True.
You know, women. I hate to say it, but the reality is, it's harder for women because they're a dime a dozen. The reality of the world that we live in is they really want these younger women all the time. They don't. The middle-aged and beyond women. They are some of the best. Like Susan Sarandon, no joke. I think she's one of the best female actors and maybe best actors that I've seen. But you know, they don't get a lot of credit unless they're in a movie that has some of these younger people and then do these other things. You know, like movies like The Bucket List and things like that. Those are good movies, but it doesn't draw that younger crowd. Does that make any sense?
No, you gotta have some kind of.
So when you combine the young crowd with these great A-listers, like for example, Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of the best movies I still think is Speed Racer. It's the most campiest, stupidest thing you could possibly think of to be a great movie, but it's such a good
It's from the Wachowski brothers.
It's such a good movie. Yeah, it's so good. It's such a well thought out, scripted, stayed true to the story, but added new. It's so ridiculous. I can't even believe how I feel stupid trying to defend this movie because it was just really well done. It's just a fun movie. I think that's missing in Hollywood these days. It's just fun. But we're getting close to running short on time. Did we really talk about our favorite actors that we want to see? Or
yeah, we did. I think so. We touched it.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, Harrison Ford makes me. I used to really look forward to seeing it, but lately,
Harrison Ford is not.
I feel like it's time for retirement. You know what I mean? Like it's sad to see your favorite heroes get a little, not old, but like it's not what it once was. Does that make sense?
Yes, and there is an actor that I think everyone goes sees because of who he is. It's Samuel L. Jackson. Whatever movie he's in, people have to go see it.
Yeah.
Snakes on a Plane. Could you do that with anyone else?
But again, I'm sorry, but it feels to me like a lot of Sam is in Sam's character.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Hollywood, the real trick to be successful in Hollywood is be yourself and just...
And sometimes you see... it is. Like, to be an actor, to really be a good actor, you got to bring the character into being you.
Yeah.
You have to.
I mean, unless you're
yourself.
playing...
If you're trying to be yourself, like, and bring in some aspects into it, that's how you create the performer.
Well, Jim Carrey, Man on the Moon. That's the perfect example of somebody not being themselves. But it worked. Like to me,
but he embodied that character. There was a whole documentary about how
he lived it.
He lived it.
He gave the crew such crap.
He lived that persona. People thought it was him.
People must have been so stressed working on that set all the time. It must have been irritating.
It screwed up his body.
Yeah.
He didn't know who he was afterwards.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like that to me is an actor doing something.
Method actor, dog.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying other actors don't get into a role. Like I'm thinking like Gene Hackman or, I don't know, like you said, Denzel. Like, I'm not saying they don't try to get into a role. Like, Denzel was really good, I think, in Glory. Like...
Who was Denzel?
Denzel Washington,
No, I said
he was Denzel, but... Maybe because he was just a younger Denzel, it actually felt more genuine, whereas now I feel like it's Denzel trying to be Denzel. Does that make sense? I don't know.
But also with the same line, we're talking about the same thing. There's directors you watch,
Spielberg,
and then you have to watch their other movies about it, right? You see their name, you're like, I should go see that. Christopher Nolan was one of the more recent ones. I think Spielberg, I would go see a Spielberg movie, of course.
Yeah.
They've been lacking. So when you see Spielberg, when you see like, oh, Spielberg's producing that, like, oh, I want to go see that, you know?
Right.
Spielberg's involved in somehow, but it's not really truly involved. But like Christopher Nolan, when he did Memento.
Yes.
And then he did like Batman Begins.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and then he did Inception. Inception was so good. And then he did the second Batman movie and the third Batman movie. And then he did, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen Interstellar yet.
Yeah.
I do want to see it. And I also want to see, what was his most recent one? Dunkirk.
Oh, did he direct that one?
Yeah.
Because that was Spielberg.
Oh, yeah.
Did Spielberg produce that?
I don't know. But like all these movies, like you see what he's doing, you're like, I want to go see it. This director did it, you know? Mm-hmm. His style is so cool. Mm-hmm. I want to see it. So at some point sometimes, like, now when you see Spielberg attached, I'm hesitant now because some of the things he's been attached to, you're like,
It goes back to that whole disappointed in your heroes thing because Spielberg, what I loved about Spielberg is his ability to quickly change the dynamic of a scene in a second. What was ready to kill you is now helping you. What was ready to help you is now going to kill you. Like with Spielberg, between those types of transitions and the camera choices that he did, like some of his shots are so beautifully set, where you got 6 things in a shot, and if you're not paying attention, you miss it, and it's so cool. Like the one thing that I remember, I wasn't a big fan of Minority Report, but the scene that stood out to me that I said was like classic Spielberg is they're fighting. This guy's on a jetpack, and he's fighting the guy on the jetpack. They're flying through rooms and walls. The jetpack flies over a grill and cooks the burgers. I mean, like, that's classic Spielberg. To me, that out of that whole movie, that's what I took home with me. I was like, that is funny. That was cool. That was a nice little touch that only Spielberg can bring. Stuff like that. Did you have any moments that you remember from your favorite people that you think of stuff like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of that. I don't know why, but I keep thinking, like, Happy Days jumping the shark.
You know what? That's actually a good point. No, it's true. It's kind of like a moment.
People always say that moment of that movie or that TV show is now an adjective almost. Like, oh, I think Marvel's jumping the shark now.
But
like,
you know,
when that happens, when someone says that and goes, Marvel's jumping the shark.
We've already discussed this. The fridge. Nuke the fridge took it over.
Oh my god, Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, they nuked the fridge.
Yeah, they nuked the fridge.
Oh man.
Well, I guess that on that note, we're pretty much wrapping up. I'm still a big Harrison Ford fan. I wish he had got to do some of the stories we're seeing now a little sooner. You know what I mean? But I've always appreciated him. There's one scene in Patriot Games that I love, and that's after his family got attacked. He's staring at them in a hospital, and it's just a quiet shot of a camera panning in on his face, a slow zoom.
He's so old.
And as he is looking at his family, you can see his face go from sad and upset and scared to pure rage and vengeance. And in that shot, I've always loved that shot because he doesn't do anything other than just change his eyes. You know what I mean? Like, you could just see that story change in his eyes. And I just thought, to me, like, that's the stuff I always enjoy. That's the stuff I miss. So I appreciate all the actors out there that stay true to themselves and bring themselves into it. Ford's not afraid to cry, you know? Will Smith's not afraid to cry. I mean, there's the actors that we love remind us that they're human, that they're real. You know what I mean? The people that, like Arnold, I don't think I've ever seen him cry, but we love him for a different reason.
I like Will Smith
as
a person. I met him.
Yeah.
He's a great person.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. And it's too bad they can't stay around forever. None of us can, but
you don't know that.
On film, they're always around forever.
We'll be around forever with these podcasts.
Oh yeah, if my mom doesn't delete them when we're done.
Why would?
I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know what's going on. All right, so thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter.
My name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm done.
So, are you gonna press play already?